Hello, we are live. I'm actually live on Facebook and YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. If you're joining me, just say hello on the comment section and we can kick off with this. It's going to be very brief. Okay, if you're joining me there, just say hello on the comment section and we fly off with this. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Um, I'm just trying out doing this, the both communities at the same time because it will actually save me, going to the different platforms at the same time because I have a community on YouTube and on Facebook. hmm Hello, everybody. How's your day going? Okay, so we're not going to be really wasting time here. I'm just going to go quickly and talk about it. If you stumble on the video later on, you can, watch through it and ask your questions in the comment section. I'll be happy to come back to the comment section and answer any of these questions. Okay, we're just going to, like the topic, we're just going to be going through colleges in Malta, why you should consider Malta, okay, as a study destination in 2024. A lot of people have recently gotten a lot more denials from Canada. A lot of people, like the regular person is thinking about the USA, Canada, and perhaps the UK, right? These are always the three places that first of all comes in our mind. But the immigration policies, very recently is not favorable in the UK, you know, and a lot of people are kind of looking out, what else can we do? What better can we do? And then very recently, the policies in Canada are not very favorable. To be very honest, if I was going for a study visa at the moment, I don't think I will be going to Canada. I don't think I'll be taking Canada as my option with the way it is at the moment. Maybe in the future, yes, but at the moment, because I actually want to make sure that, I'm not just making applications, I'm not just paying money, that I actually stand the chances of actually getting these visas approved. It's very important. So you can't just neglect this fact, right? And just keep making applications because you want to make applications. You also want to invest your money in a place that you are sure, at least to some reasonable extent, that you're going to get a visa approval, okay? Because I mean, if there are so many countries out there where you can go and get the same, quality of life as well that you're looking for in a particular country, why would you neglect these countries and go to a place where your chances are very slim? Very recently, the Canadian immigration has announced their intentions to reduce study visa approval to the tune of 35%, okay? 35% reduction. So that means they're going to be a lot more refusal. So for me, it's not, going to be a very attractive place. The truth is they're going to refuse visas from a lot of people. So it's time for people to start looking out, especially a lot of universities, a lot of colleges in the Europe, very good universities. It's just that for some reason people are not talking about them, but they're actually very good options, wonderful tuition. So want to look around these things. In the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking more about opportunities, study opportunities in the Europe, okay, that you can avail of and can come in handy, can come in as I can see two people joining me. Could you just comment on the comment section, just say hello? Where are you joining from? Anyway, it's gonna tell me if you're right, okay? Are you joining from YouTube or Facebook? We're actually live on Facebook and live on YouTube as well. So just let me know in the comment section where you are joining from, okay? So quickly, we're gonna be talking about Malta. Malta. It is a beautiful small country, okay? And it's an island, right? When you hear island, what should come to your mind is beauty. It's a very beautiful place, and there are so many reasons why you should consider Malta as your study destination in 2024. Okay. And that's the reason I'm making this video. So, number one reason, okay, the tuitions are reasonably cheap when you compare it to other countries. Okay. So, when I say other countries, I mean countries that pass like your Canadian, compared to the study The Lord is your strength. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Che. Thank you for joining. You're joining from Facebook. Thank you. So, so when you consider the cost of tuition, okay, in Malta, comparing it to other countries, say Canada, even the UK, yeah, it's actually reasonably cheaper. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it's reasonably cheaper. Okay, generally studying abroad is not cheap. That's the truth that you have to sell to yourself, right? Studying abroad is not cheap, but obviously some countries are cheaper than some. That's the truth. So in some countries, the tuitions will be cheaper, um, and even the proof of fund down to POF, right, would be cheaper. For example, now you're not going to be jumping up if you have 30 million or 40 million naira in your account if you're applying for a Canadian study visa. That's the truth. You're not going to be jumping up. But for some other country, that is a lot, right? That is so much. You don't even need up to that as a POF if you are applying to so other countries. So you get what I mean, right? I know people who have block of 30, 35 in their accounts and have applied for Canadian visa, and it never came a yes, right? So yes, so the even down to your POF requirement is higher for some countries and lesser. So these are one of the things. So for tuition, for example, I will use one of the universities in Malta. For example, I'll use the Global College. Okay, the Global College Malta is called GCM, popularly known as GCM. If you're considering to use this route, you can go further and research this university. So on an average in GCM, for example, for BSc courses, you would have courses for around 16,400 to around 20,000. Okay. And for MSc courses, for postgraduate courses, you'd have courses for around 8,900 to around 9,900. So about 9,000 to 10,000 euros. Okay. And for BSc courses, like I said, you have around 16,400 to 20,000 euros. Okay. And then you have courses in PhD for about over 6,900 euros. Okay. So the money is all in euros. So I mean, you can also, like for MSc courses, for example, you can get courses as low as 5,000, as low as 5,000 euros. I mean, it's reasonably very, very affordable compared to a lot of countries. I mean, it's one of one of the best that I have seen, right? So it all depends as well on your choice of schools. So even in the schools, the colleges, you need to understand that some of them will be a lot cheaper than some. So it depends on your choice of school, and as well your, of course, your choice of course as well. What course you're going for will determine, but generally, in fairness, it is relatively cheap, okay, compared to. So other reason why you should be considering Malta is that transportation is free. So generally, I would even want to say cost of living. So cost of living is generally free, even with accommodation when you compare it to other countries. Okay. At the moment, in so many places, it would be very hard to even get like a room for £500, $500, 500 euros. Okay, but you can reasonably and comfortably get a place for 500. Most people will share, not necessarily share their room when they come in. Okay, at that early stage, not necessarily share their room, but they can share maybe kitchens and toilet, and it even makes it cheaper for you. Okay, so you can, if you're sharing, for example, you can get places to the tune of 300 euros, 350 euros. That is amazing. That is very good. Please, what's the cost of vocational training in more? We come there. Okay, right now I'm talking about colleges. Okay, for people going for graduates and people going for um either BSc courses or MSc courses or PhD courses. Okay, that's what I want to be talking about today. Okay, um so another reason is that obviously, like you all know, Malta is in Europe, and it is one of the Schengen countries. So you already know at this stage that if you were studying in Malta, you had a Malta visa, that it's a ticket to all the Schengen countries, right? You can travel to any of the Schengen countries and visa free. You wouldn't need visa, right, to get into any of the Schengen countries. So yes, that is an added advantage. Okay. Another reason, okay, why I would consider Malta is the language. Okay, so for so many countries, especially countries in the Europe, for example, like Germany, the language would always be a problem. Okay, because you for you to really integrate in Germany, you really need to be able to speak the German language, right? So sometimes a lot of people, they find this very, very unattractive, that they have to come and try to, with all the stress they already have, study, work, and all of that. You still have to, on top of that, add the stress of learning a new language. Somebody might like me now. I wonder if there is space for learning a new language in my head. To be very honest, that's going to be really difficult for me personally, except of course the opportunity is going to give me money, you know. Obviously, if something is going to get you money, and if it's not going to hurt, then of course we're going to go for it. But if it's not going to get me no money, if I have an option that I don't have to learn a language and I can still get the same life that I'm looking for, then I would definitely not go for learning a language, right? Yeah, I can see somebody is joining me from YouTube, and hello YouTube, good to have you, right? So another reason why you want to consider Malta is that just like every other country, you have your 20 hours, okay, working hours as a student, okay? Whether you're doing your MSc or PhD, you have 20 hours to work, okay? Now, on top of that, your working hours are so flexible. They're so flexible in Malta. So they have this thing they do in Malta. So they do evening classes, morning classes, all right, with their studies, right? Not the working hours now. So that gives you the flexibility with the study. Okay, the classes are so flexible. They have evening and morning classes. Okay, so you have the opportunity to, it kind of give you a way of balancing out your schedule between work and study, right? So that's actually an added advantage. Do I have a comment here? Okay. So that's actually an added advantage. Okay. So you can agree with me that there are so many goodies around Multi. Now let's go to the one that I love so much. Okay. I love so much. There's the juicy part of it. Okay. I love this so much. So in Malta, so far, this is the only country that I have seen this up till now, except it exists somewhere else and I'm not aware of it. But at the moment, I think Malta is the only country that I know that does this. So in Malta, would you believe with me? Well, would you agree? Would you believe that you get a 70% rebate of your tuition fees? Yes. So whatever you pay for school fees, you get 70% back. Yes, you get 70% back. So when you have worked for 2 years, you make an application. Okay, there's a process for making that application. They call it, I think, the get qualified study. Okay, so, and you don't actually do anything to qualify for it. All you need to do is to, prove that you were admitted in one of the colleges in Malta. You went there, you completed your study hours, and you graduated from that college. You paid all your fees in the college, you graduated, so you need a letter from the school to confirm this, and then you can make this application. Okay, this scheme is provided by the government of Malta. Once you can get this proof from your college that you completed the study and all of that, then you can make this application. They call it, I think, something certificate of something. I'm not very sure now, but the whole idea is that you can get 70%. I mean, it's a win for you. And after that, so mostly when you have graduated and worked for, I think, about 2 years, then you can make this application, okay, to get your tuition back. So yes, I find this very, very attractive. It's a win for everybody, right? Especially you, because in some other countries, you get a job and you're happy with that, right? Nobody's talking about your tuition. So I mean, this is very thoughtful of the Maltan government, and I think if I were looking for somewhere to go, I think that's really attractive. Okay. Now, very importantly, it's important to know that they don't accept HNDs. Not that I know of at the moment. So I just wanted to say that here because I know these are the kind of questions that may come around in the comment section and maybe in my inbox. So I have a HND at the moment. I know you need to have your if you're going for an MSc course, you need to have a first degree. Okay, you need to have a bachelor's. Okay, to apply for for the course. Now with payment, their universities is amazingly flexible. Yeah, very, very flexible. So normally in Malta, you're expected to pay around 50%, okay? 50% when you are offered an admission. And then after the admission, you're expected, when you get a visa, sorry, you're expected to pay another 50%. Okay. Um, Hi, Godfather. Hi. Welcome to the live. So after your what was I saying? So after your visa is approved, you pay 50%. And then sometimes as well, it depends on the college, but generally that's the principle. Okay, that's most of the university principal in Malta. Okay, so 50% after admission, 50% after um after your visa is approved. Okay. And then, for example, so most BSc courses, for example, are 3 years. Okay. So let's say, for example, okay, let me use 15,000 as an example. Say your tuition for your BSc for the whole of the 3 years. Okay. Because when the tuition comes, it comes, okay, for the total duration of your course. So for the whole of your for the 3 years of your BSc, the BSc courses are often 3 years. Let's say it's 15,000. Okay, so you know that in your first year the tuition fee is 5,000 euros, in your second year it's 5,000 euros, and in your third year it's 5,000 euros. So with this example now, you have 5,000 spread across your 3 years. Okay, so in your first year you're expected to pay 50% of 5,000. So 2,500. Okay, after your admission is given to you, and then the other 2,500 euros after you have a visa approval. Did you get that right? So basically, overall, what I'm trying to say is you pay 50% of your tuition after you have your admission approved, and you pay 50% after you have your visa approved. Now, another reason why I am personally attracted to Malta is the fact that the visa processing it's not rocket science, right? It's very easy, the ease of visa and the high rate of approval. Honestly, as long as you what I mean is, if you have an admission, right? If you have an admission from a college in Malta, very, very likely you are getting a visa approval. Except of course you have some naughty stuff around, going on. But there's a high chance that you're getting a visa approval. You will agree with me that this is not the case for the US, right? You can get all admission you care, but it does not guarantee that you're going to get a visa, you know? But the chances of visa, or the chances of you getting a visa approval in Malta, it's quite high. Okay, so that's another reason that I would recommend that people start looking. People start looking, especially people who are ready, but you're stranded, you're trying to save money, you keep saving, you're saving 30 million, 40 million for the year, you're looking for, if you're I mean you need to start looking out for other countries that can give you as well very good, amazing quality of life, and they can even come easier, you know so these are the things you need to look out for. Another thing is, even with the visa processing time, I know a lot of people right now at the moment who are, over the last year, they've been waiting for their Canadian visa decision, and they are frustrated. So they have applied for visa. Visa is not here. Hello, YouTube. Can you just say hello if you're joining? Say hello if you're joining the comment section. I'd love to see your comments and let me know where you are joining from. Okay, I'd love to know your destinations. It will kind of also help me and guide me in subsequent videos. Okay, so just say hello, say something, and let me know where you're joining from if you're joining. Okay, so with the visas, right? The visa processing time, it's a lot. Like, the longest time I have seen anybody applied for a study visa and got a decision in Malta is 2 months. 2 months. So some people get decision under 2 weeks, some people under 1 month, but the longest I have personally seen is 2 months. So I mean, this is what, to me, it's amazing compared to, there are countries that you apply to 6 months, no decision. So you don't even know where you stand. You don't even know am I here? Do I stand a chance here, or am I moving forward? Oh, Godfather, you're joining from Ireland. Amazing. So you're just my next door neighbor. Um, so yeah, so the visa processing time is really good. Like I said, the longest I've seen is 2 months. So that's another reason I would consider Malta. Okay. Um, So mind you, you can't move with your family immediately if you're going to Malta. Okay, you can't move with your family immediately, but you can do that after your study and you're taking a job in Malta. And a lot of times, getting a job after your study because you're already working in the system at the within the time of that you're studying, right? So most likely, getting a job for internationals. A lot of people that I know who are in Malta, who've been to Malta, they didn't find it as rocket science either getting a job. So when you do, you can then apply for your family to come over. So the first year, as opposed to Canada currently, I know. I think yeah, Canada currently you can migrate family, especially now, except for now that they are making the new policy where they're trying to exonerate some classes of students, from being able to move in their dependents. But otherwise, in Malta, at the time that you're moving as a student, you can't move with family. Okay, you have to go there, finish your study, get a job, and then you can move with family. But I know a lot of people do this as soon as they are 1 year completed their course, they get a job and they start making their applications, and the visa processing is is relatively easy. I don't want to say it's all easy, but it's relatively. When I say relatively, I'm comparing it to other countries. Okay. So another thing I talked about the language, right? So yeah, they have the Maltese language in Malta, and but generally they speak English, right? So you don't have to worry about learning a new language if your head is. I didn't want to. I didn't want to use the word your head being blocked now, but my head being blocked. My head is not blocked, but I would. I don't see myself trying to learn a new language if I have an option, right? So yes, if you're somebody who is not very receptive to learning languages, the most spoken language in Malta is English language. Okay, and a lot of times you don't need IELTS. Okay, so if you're somebody who actually dread IELTS, then look at Malta. Okay, you have to start considering Malta. So yes, you will agree with me already that there are so many reasons why you should be looking at this destination. Now people always say, oh, why would you always talk about study? The truth is, the easiest way to relocate to a country is the study route. Believe it or not, that's the easiest way. Yes, there are so many other routes. Yes, you can travel, but especially from your home country, the easiest way. So that's why most likely we'll talk about study route. Study route is always the easiest. Yeah. That's not to say that the other routes are not valid, that people are not traveling via the other route. But these days, especially the job route, come on, comparing it to the student route, like if somebody, 10 people were applying, were going via the study routes, the other 10 people were going, they're looking to go via the job route. The 10 people in the study route are more likely to have a clear path and travel within a specified period of time. You get what I mean? So it's just about you having the qualifications, applying for school, and all of that. Because you're going there to go and pay money, right? And you're going to pay money, except, of course, you have scholarships. Okay. So I think that if you have money, if I did have money and I was relocating, I'm going to be looking for schools. What I may perhaps do is to look out for scholarships, especially if I have good grades, right? Most scholarships have obviously want people with great grades, right? Look out for scholarships, look out for destinations that you're going to, look out for places that have cheap tuitions as opposed to the ones that are very expensive. And the example, what we are talking about today, like Malta, you know, because some people are saving up so much money. Oh, they want to study in the US, they want to study. And if imagine you were studying by yourself, you were paying your tuition by yourself in the US. I mean, crazy money. Okay. Now, if you can afford that, that's fine. There's no problem. That's beautiful. You go for that destination. But in a case where you're staying how many years trying to save that money, it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense to me. Why would I stay? Why would you sit down and be saving up how much to make a proof of fund in the US if you're not going there on via scholarship, when there are countries where you can get the same quality of life and you don't need to save that amount to go. So if it to take you 2 years to or 3 years to save the money that you will need for your US study visa, and it will take you like 1 year to save money to go to other countries in Europe, like Malta that we're talking about today. Which of them makes more sense, guys? I think I should be in Malta, having the life I desire, making better money in Malta, you know, with the other 2 years than just, being in a place. And obviously, whatever I want to do moving forward from Malta will be a lot much more easier than my initial location. If I choose to move from there, if I change my mind to move from there, it will be a lot easier. It will make a lot more sense to move from where I am. It depends on the individual. Absolutely depends on all of this depends on the individual. But I'm just saying from my perspective, right? I think it makes more sense to move because whatever you would want to do from that perspective, even in the future, if you desire to make further changes from there, it will be a lot easier to make it from that destination than where you were. So why wait for the place? And then every day immigration policy changes. Okay? Immigration policies changes. And you will agree with me that sometimes when immigration policy changes, it's always how do I explain that? What I wanted to say that it's like it's applicable to only a few countries, most likely countries in Africa. So you could say if you are applying from here, if you're applying from here, it could be more difficult for you. And most likely it is most of us who want to migrate. Those are the kind of countries that are being targeted. So you could be from that country, but the fact that you are not in that country. I know a time when a lot of people were going to a lot of nurses were relocating to the US, just like last 3 years, right? It was a lot easier. It was a lot easier to relocate. But right now, traveling from Nigeria. So I know a lot of people who I told then and I said, look, if this thing is not working at the moment, like if it's taking you some time, can you just relocate to the UK, be in the UK, work there as a nurse? If you still want to practice in the US, you can always move from there. I remember talking to one of my friends and she was like, oh no, it's difficult. I'm going to wait here. I said, don't wait in Nigeria. It's not going to do you no good. She moved to the UK. Now she's moved to the US from the UK and it's so easy. But people in Nigeria at the moment who waited in Nigeria are still in Nigeria, and a lot of them have like 3 years queue and 4 years queue, and nothing has happened. But then people who are, even though they are Nigerians, but by the virtue of living in another country, having a residency in another country, it's a different story for them when they make their application. So when you see an opportunity to move that is reasonable, make a move. Make a move. Whatever you want to do subsequently, I guarantee you it's going to be easier from where you were, or where you presently are from where you were, rather. That's what I meant to say. Okay. Um, so so these are okay, so these are basically the things, okay, around the school. So I talked about the cost of living, I talked about their tuitions, okay, that they are very reasonably cheap. Okay, and another thing you need to know is that transportation is free. So this actually comes down to cost of living again. Transportation is actually free. Yeah, like I want to move from here to Canada, you see, so makes sense. So definitely, to be very honest, it's going to be a lot easier for you, especially Godfather, when you settle here. I don't know if you're working in Ireland, but if you're definitely working in Ireland and want to relocate to Canada, it will be a lot easier for you. Like you get what you get what I'm saying, right? As opposed to maybe you were applying from Ghana, or you know, any of the African or Asian countries. Okay, so when you have opportunities to move, please make use of them and move. Okay, and so another thing I was going to talk about is the transportation. So transportation is actually free. Yes, that's another attractive thing. So you can imagine you're in Canada, you're in the UK, you're going to be going to school every single day, you're going to be going to work every single day, and you're going to be paying for your transport. Okay, you're going to be paying for buses, you're going to be paying for your trams, for your trains. It could look like small money to you, maybe £4, £3, £2. But when you sit down and do the math, you see what fraction of your salary is going into that. And you actually know how much you're truly getting at the end of the month. So, but in Malta, do you know that with less than 10 euro, you can get a bus card, can get a transport card. And with that card, transportation is subsequently free. All you need to do is to go into the bus, flag your card, and off you go. So that is another amazing stuff. Okay. Um, so I talked about the 70% tax rebate, okay, for tuition, okay, where you get 70% of your tuition back, okay, after you have settled in Malta, you're working, you get that back, okay. And we talked about the language, talked about the working hours, and yeah, that's basically it. So there are ranges of university in Malta that you can actually look at. Okay, so you can look at the Global College Malta, for example. Basically, the Global College is a business school, so they actually do like management related courses only. Um, their tuition, for example, I use their tuition as an example. So I said for their BSc, for example, you get courses around 16,400 to 20,000. Okay, you can get around 16,000. Okay, 16,000 to 20,000. So imagine that you have 16,000. Okay, as your tuition, and 60,000. When I say 60,000, it means for the duration of your course, which is 3 years for a BSc course, for example. So that means every year you're paying 5,000, right? So for the first year, when you're leaving your home country, what you're expected to do is to pay for the first year. So you're going to be paying um 50% of the cost. If your school fee, I use 15,000 as an example. So if your school fees was 15,000, you have 5,000 for your annual tuition for the first year. So you're going to be paying without residence permit but working. Can I apply for Canada? Without residence permit but working, can I apply for Canada visa? No, you need a residence permit. I don't know how you're working. How you're working? You have a work permit, you need a residence visa, right? So that does not mean that you cannot. I don't know what kind of visa you have, to be very honest. I need to understand what kind of visa you have in Ireland to be able to apply for a Canadian visa. Yeah. But if you have, like, for example, a visitor's visa, obviously, um, I would not advise that you apply for a Canadian visa. Okay, I understand that. I can see that, Godfather, but what kind of visa do you have at the moment? Would you have like a work permit from your employer? You're working, obviously, so you have some sort of document for you to be able to work. If I am, are we on the same page? For you to be able to work, you have some kind of residency. I need to know what kind of residency you have before I would say if it's advisable or not to apply for a Canadian visa at the moment. But I would say if you have a residency in Ireland, then it's completely fine. Okay, it's completely fine. Okay, or we can talk about that private, right? So I talked about the global college, okay, and I said it's like they do mostly business courses. So if you're looking for a business related course, you can look at GCM. You can look them up on their website yourself, okay. And yeah, we talked about their payment plans, and it's another school as well. There's a school called the SBM. So it's a school of business management as well, just like GCM. But then I think they offer about 30% discount scholarship for students. So it's something that you also want to take advantage of. If you're going for a business related course as well, you can apply to the school. So off, even when you get a reasonable cheap tuition, you can also get a 30% off. You see what I'm trying to say. So comparing more to some of these countries. So people really need to start looking out of the box, looking out. There are so many good opportunities out there, right? So there's the EIE, the Institute of Education, okay, and the tuition in this college will be a lot cheaper, even compared. When I say a lot cheaper, I'm comparing it now to GCM. I actually looked at all of these colleges, looked at their tuition fees, okay, and their annual tuition fees around different courses. So I use GCM as my kind of referral base, right? So compared to GCM, to the Global College, okay, Malta, the Institute of Education is relatively cheaper as well, okay? And you have the Essential Malta, okay? The Essential Malta is another good college, and I know at the moment they still have places open for April, for the April session. So if you're looking for 2024, 2025 um um class, okay, Thank you for all this information. Oh, Male, thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining as well. Okay. So if you are looking for an April session, okay, for 2024, 2025, you may want to look up Essential, okay, in Malta. They still have classes for this. And because because the visa time, the admission time, it takes you 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Some people 1 week to get admission if you apply, so long as you have the necessary qualifications. If you approve for it, as opposed to some people, like in some countries, Canada, you keep writing emails and emails and emails and emails. Sometimes you don't get a response. So things are a lot more quicker. And then even for the visa. So somebody in this, even though it's the last day of January, I'll be tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the last day, but somebody can still apply for an April class and actually get it. You get what I mean? So if you have, let's say you have your qualifications, you have your paper, you can still apply for a Malta university now, today, tomorrow, and still join in April. I mean, that's amazing. As opposed to 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. You could. I've seen people get it in 2 weeks. I've seen people get it in get their visas into. Like I told you, the visa, my experience, the longest I've applied for a couple of persons, the longest I have seen, I've applied for a couple of persons. I have talked to people who have made the applications by themselves. The longest I have seen so far would be 2 months for the visa approval. Okay. And for me, that's a reasonable time. That's a reasonable time. As opposed to a lot of countries now, people have applied for visas for over 1 year and you don't even have a decision. These things kind of affect your mind. As much as you're trying to move forward, your mind is still there because it's not closed. There's no closure. So you don't know. So sometimes you want to do something and you're like, what if that is positive? Do you get what I mean? So it's like within that period of 1 year that visa is being processed, you're just kind of on a queue. Okay, you just kind of, so you go, Male, you need to go into the university college. So it all depends on what you're applying for, what course you're applying for. You need to go to the university college and look at what course, and the university will tell you for every individual courses what documents you need to submit. So you need to browse which of the universities you want to go to, search for a certain course, whatever course you're looking for or you're looking to do that you're interested in, and then look for the requirements. Okay, and then we can talk about the visa. And even with the visa, if you go to the site, you would see all of the documents that you need. But we can talk about that. Okay. So so you have the Essentia, you have the University of Malta as well. So this one is like a public university. Okay. And you have most of the courses, okay, done there. And mostly you have science related courses in the University of Malta. Like I said, it's one of the biggest universities because it's a public university. And mostly for science students. Okay, so if you're in the science field, you're doing science related courses, you may want to look at University of Malta. Okay, another university is the MCAS, okay, is Institute of Arts, Science and Technology. Okay, College of Arts, Science and Technology, and they also offer science related courses as well. So if you're science related and even arts with the MCAS, you may want to apply to MCAS. Okay, another university, but it's a wee bit expensive. Anyway, I don't think it's actually relatable to a lot of persons here on my platform, because American University of Malta is relatively expensive compared to other universities. And as well, at the moment, they're not taking people from Nigeria, from India, and I think Pakistan. So if you're a Nigerian, don't even look at their website at the moment. I saw that and I tried to confirm that, even though I was not looking to apply for no course, but just to, affirm that information from their website. I did write to them and they said they are not taking people. Okay. Calling your GM, please give me. No, it's okay. It's okay, John. Okay, so they're not taking people from Nigeria, India, and Pakistan. So if you're from these countries, do not go to American University of Malta. So you're not wasting your time in doing an application. You can look at all of these other options. You can either look at GCM, you can look at SBM, which is the School of Business, especially if you're going for management related or business related courses. Like I said, the School of Business Management, that's SBM, also offers a 30% reduction on their tuition. So you may want to actually take advantage of that. You may want to look at that. If they have sessions for 2024, 2025. Honestly, if you're actually looking to go in this year for a study and you're just around maybe Canada or US, I really, really, really advocate that you start looking out of the boxes. I really do. I really do. The reason is immigration keeps changing and we don't know whether it's changing for good or for bad, right? So you don't want to be in a spot. People had wanted to travel last 2 years. I know a lot of my friends who, even when I left, they had wanted to travel with me, but a lot of them are stuck today because they couldn't take a decision or because they were fixed on a particular thing, and there we are back in Africa and things are not possibly getting better. Yeah. So it changes everything and it's getting harder. It's getting harder here. So the last few years, maybe dollar was how much? Okay. So let's say you're looking to travel. The school fees is still the same, but obviously it's now more expensive for you, right? Most of the exams we wrote there, like I was checking, somebody was trying to register with the board here, and I was going to assist them to make their payments. Okay. And I looked at the amount. I had to help her to make those payments. I looked at the amount he was transferring to me. It was so much. It was so much. And I was saying to myself, but I didn't pay this amount, you know. I didn't pay this amount. And then I went back to the website to check what was if the cost had changed. The cost has not changed, obviously. I didn't remember that it was actually the exchange rate, so I mean it's ridiculous. So she's paying almost like two times from naira in naira. Okay. And then she's still doing it. And the fact that she's paying that exorbitant amount is not going to change what she's going to get eventually when she comes now and what I got. Do you get what I mean? So it doesn't make sense. If you know you want something, go for it. Immigration policies would always change, and a lot of times they're not always for the good. They're going to become harder, especially when they see that a lot of people are trooping in. Obviously, these people want to protect their countries, so they're going to put in a lot difficult measures, stringent measures. I know sometimes it may not favor people who want to come to these countries. You're not going to like it, but they're not doing it for you to like it. They're doing it to protect their countries. Yeah, but that's the truth. That's the reality. So they're going to put in very difficult measures that would protect people from coming there. And it's not going to be something that will be favorable to you. I want you to get that right. So if you are thinking of migrating, move, look for a lot of opportunities, be flexible at the time where you are. Even when you change your mind where you are, it is a lot easier to move from there. It's a lot easier to move from there than just standing in a particular place and saying you want to move to a certain place. That works for some persons. I mean, it does work for some persons, but majority of the times that backfires. You may want to get that. Those kind of persons often gets to a place where they regret, and they perhaps eventually don't get whatever destination they were fixed on, and they eventually change their mind, to go to open their mind some other places. And even then it becomes so difficult. I can give you examples of people. This is a lot of 90% of the times it often comes with regrets. So open your mind, look at the opportunities available to you. When you want to don't fix your mind. There are so many ways to kill a bird, they say, right? There are so many ways to kill a bird. Don't fix your eyes on a particular thing and say you have to do there. You were not born there, so why are you so fixed? Why are you so fixed there? Some people will say, okay, I have an auntie in so country, so I have to go there. Why? What will your auntie do for you when you go there? Yeah, I have an uncle there. That's why I love Canada. My uncle is in Canada. Is your uncle going to do anything for you if you go to? Don't be surprised. You may go to Canada. You may be living in a different state with your uncle, or you may even be living in the same state and don't even see your uncle for 2 years. That's the reality of the life abroad. So why it doesn't make sense to me when you say, oh, I need my auntie to be there, or I need my uncle to be there before I can. That's why that's the reason I'm choosing this country. The minute you're planning to relocate abroad, you need to have an independent life, an independent mind, rather. Okay? You need to have a mind of your own. If you even come abroad and start doing uncle and brother, It's not, I don't think it's going to go well. A lot of people mind their businesses abroad. I'm telling you, that's the life here. So you have to start having this mindset of being on your own. If you really have that mindset of the way we live in Africa, people, "Oh, you are living here, nobody has that time. Nobody's going to work." So you're not necessarily going to be having uncle and aunties around you. So that shouldn't be a reason for anybody to, stay back and not open up themselves to opportunity and say, "Oh, I have to go to the US because my uncle is in the US." I guarantee you, you may live in the same city with your uncle in the US, but you guys may never see because you're all busy. You are all busy. Yeah. You may get to see at functions or something, once in a while, but you're all busy. You come back home, there's a lot to do. So yeah, the life is different. You need to have that independent mindset. And Google has to be your friend. If you're looking to relocate abroad, it baffles me, it amazes me, it annoys me on top of that when people say, common school, you're looking for a link. No, you can't be doing that, because when you go abroad, you're going to be doing everything. Down to when you ask people on the road, "Oh, where's the way to this?" The person is looking like he's like, "Are you for real? Are you crazy or something? Don't you have a Google map?" Do you get what I mean? So you live more like an independent life. You do things a lot for yourself. Internet's made everything easy. Like, come on, you need to be able to start doing stuff for yourself. Start looking up. And even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm telling you some of this stuff now. I don't expect you to just sit down and say, "Oh, she said." No, no, no. I expect you to go back and then go and look up these things by yourself. If it's something you're interested in, okay, get this information first time. You can search up everything in Google. Yes, sometimes people can teach you from their expertise and experience. I know. But you need to have some level of knowledge. There are some kind of basic knowledge you can have about that thing from Google. It is in Google. So when people ask this kind of questions, it's very annoying, especially somebody who says, "Oh, I want to go to abroad and do my master's. I want to go and do this thing." But you cannot Google school. So as I'm talking to you about Global College Malta, and you're asking me send the link, what happens to you typing it into Google? What happens? Why do I have to send you the link if you can't type into a search engine? Where you are planning to go to a place where you're going to be doing everything for yourself. Nobody cares about what you're doing in the school. They expect you to be independent. They expect you to be able to search. These are some of the habits that we need to consciously put in. Just like I gave you the example of asking somebody where you're going to, you're lost. This is common in Africa. We do that a lot in Africa. I read the island system on Google before coming to see. Absolutely. That's what you need to do. You need to Google, read about a country that you're planning to relocate into, you know. So these are the life here. People do things by themselves. People are very independent here. If you're asking somebody for, "Oh, I'm missing my way," the person is looking at you like, "Are you okay?" Like you're not okay. But you're asking a genuine question. So what happened to Google Map? What happened to your Google? Can't you ask Google? Why do you have to ask me where you're going to? Google is going to guide you. You see? So, and yet you are asking an honest and genuine question. So there are a lot of things. You have to be very researchable. You have to be very researchable. I know you can't get every information by yourself, but when people give you a clue, there are things that you can search from Google from now till tomorrow, and you will never see it until maybe somebody mentions it to you. Maybe I mention it to you, somebody else mentions it to you. But I don't expect you to stop at that. I expect you to go back and know better, because I can't possibly tell you everything about that particular thing, maybe in just 20 minutes or in 15 minutes. I expect you to go, especially if it's something that's it's important to you, something that you want to do, something as important as traveling. It's not a joke. It's something that you really need to know, have facts and figures before you embark on it, because you don't want to go halfway and you don't know what you're doing, or you get stuck. Do you know, like every other thing that you do, especially in the world that we are today, there's so much information out there. You need to research things for yourself. You need to research things. Okay, as much as you're using knowledge from expertise, sometimes, like I said, you go into the internet, you may not see something. I may never see something when I go on the internet, except maybe I have a clue or I've heard it from somebody, and then I go back and do in-depth research on it. Okay, but the point is, when you hear, go back and research. Okay, go back and research, and don't just depend on people doing the researches for you, right? Because that way you can take wrong information, because a lot of people come out with wrong information as well. So how do you differentiate a correct information from a faulty one? The fact that we have so many resourceful informations out here on the internet, we can't also not dispute the fact that a lot of people give wrong informations here, right? So if you're that kind of person that will just take sink for sank, you don't check anything. So if I come here and tell you every game, you take it and you go home, whose fault is it that you have the wrong information? Was it my fault? Yeah, I don't think it's my fault, right? Yeah, even though nobody should come and tell people crap, right? But unfortunately, people do. So that's why you're responsible to check things for yourself. Okay. So if you use the wrong information and it comes bad for you, I don't care if you call me to blame me. So you are going to be the one suffering for it, right? So you need to check. Something as important as traveling is something that is worth that you have facts before you embark on it. Okay. Because at the end of the day, if things go wrong, if you're not taking the right decision, everybody is going to be there and sympathize with you, but you're going to be the one who is actually bearing the blunt. So guys, um I think here we are. If I have questions, never blame your inefficiency on anyone. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. The internet makes it really easy, really, really easy for people to access relevant information that they need. I mean, it's such an amazing time to live where you have a lot of resources. And when you get into the habit of being able to research for things yourself, you start getting used to the internet. You start getting used to researches. So subsequently, and this is how, with time, when it becomes a daily habit, with time, even when you see a fraudulent sites or something, you kind of know this is not, even when you're reading some information and it's not an official immigration site, because people put out a lot of chaff and fake out there. You can say, no, this does not look like a government official website. So it is only when you start getting used to searching for yourselves, that you're able to differentiate, you know, the true from the fakes, right? So guys, with everything I've said, you will agree with me that Malta is quite an interesting destination that you want to start thinking about it, right? You want to start thinking about it, especially if you are planning studying. Okay. And very subsequently, we'll be looking at a lot of colleges, a lot of opportunities in some of these European countries. Okay. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, what you want is a good life, an improved life, an improved quality life, right? A system that gives you better life. Okay. If you're looking at cost, for example, you want obviously a good college in a good environment, as at the same time that is cost effective as well, right? So these are things you're looking out for. So you need to, if you have this goal, you have this objective to travel, you need to write down what are the things you're looking for. Okay. And very currently, I think this is really the right time for people to start thinking out of the boxes, right? If you are Canada, I personally would not go to Canada right now for study. For study, no, I wouldn't. No, no. Well, I may if I was looking, but obviously I have no interest to go study in Canada. But um, if I was, what I mean when I said I would not go, I mean if I was applying from Africa, it's not a good time. It's not a good time because I wouldn't want to be investing my money and time when I know that the probability of the approval is very slim. And when it's not approved, the time you've invested is not coming back. The money you've invested is obviously not coming back. Okay, so that's gone and you have to move on. What happens to that time? When at the time of application, yes, people do things that they don't work. But when I want to go into a venture, I would look at the probabilities at the time I'm making that application. So right now we all know that this year there's going to be a lot of Canadian visa refusal. That's the truth. Believe it or not, there's going to be a lot. I know a lot of people are still going to get it, but what's the guarantee? what's the guarantee, you know? So why not look out for other options? So guys, let me know if you found this time helpful. Let me know in the comment section. I can see I have 5 people from YouTube. Wow, wow. Facebook, I have a lot more comments here from Facebook than YouTube. Okay, so well, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this. And if not, yeah, I think we will be bringing the live to an end. And if you watch the video, I know a lot of people are going to watch the video after now. After now, obviously, I know a lot of people would not be able to join at the time of live, but please ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll do well to come back to the video and answer your questions. Okay. And until then, keep well and stay out of trouble. Mm, that's really helpful. Thank you so much. You are welcome. You're welcome, Mali. And thank you for joining. I'm glad it was helpful. I'm glad it was helpful. All right. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Okay. Remember, this year, we're going to have lots of approvals. We're going to have things moving for us, okay? But we need to plan strategically. We need to plan. We need to make informed decisions. But remember, again, like I told you, Google is going to be your best friend this year. This year, you are going to make researches as well by yourself, okay? You're going to try to know better, try to search, make searches for yourself, especially if you're planning to travel abroad. Nobody's going to do things for you in abroad. You're going to do things for yourself. So this year, Google is going to be your best friend. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.